So, today I woke up and chose violence. This video is going to be me addressing these dumb documentaries made about me. Well, they're not just about me. There are a lot made about other creators as well. I'm doing this because there's a channel that, just like the rest, picks on content creators they see as failures, I guess, and it's usually either Amberlynn or I find it weird that a grown man chooses to obsess over the lives of the two same women, basically beating a dead horse, but whatever. Speaking of beating dead horses, figuratively, not literally, of course, this new quote-unquote docu-series being made about me will not, by the way, spoiler, will not contain anything new that you haven't heard a million times before. Also from these few other overly dramatic, embellished bullcrap documentaries, such as Canadian Horror Story, for example. First off, a documentary is supposed to be educational. There's nothing educational about me, about these videos, because you are only able to make conclusions based on limited information about my life. What is educational about me eating and telling stories from my past, for example? My life is really not that interesting, nor is my content to warrant 3 hours of an in-depth character study that these creators fabricate. Not only that, they try to analyze me from what seems to be a psychological approach or, about my eating disorder or other matters when they're not even qualified to do that. Being some edgelord living in your parents' basement reading Kiwi Farms all day does not make you a credible source of information. You are not doctors, you are not therapists, and you are certainly not experts on my life. So each of these dumb documentaries starts off with some dramatic cinematic intro. Imagine, how am I that interesting? Anyway, I guess I'm flattered. So the music is super annoying because it sets the tone of sadness, hopelessness, drama, regret. Again, speculating that we as the subjects feel that way about our lives.
Right. So the next question I get asked a lot is just questions relating to health updates, how I'm doing with the blood clot situation, how I'm doing with my ovarian cyst. So I'll just talk a bit about my health. And they say that most people have to hit a rock bottom to change. And the amount of health issues I've amassed for myself because of my obesity is definitely scary and eye-opening for me, and I really want that to be my rock bottom. Basically, if you're new here, I was recently diagnosed with multiple pulmonary emboli, which is blood clots in the lungs. So I do have some chest pain. That's normal, especially if I exert myself. Like yesterday, I did a lot of walking. At Comic-Con, and I had to take several breaks. When my chest started hurting, I knew it was time to sit down. I would be able to even walk from the parking lot to the building without gasping for air. And that was one of the signs that I knew that, I have to go in because my breathing is worse. And it's really scary because I wasn't going to go to the emergency because I just figure I'm overweight. I need to lose weight. People have trouble breathing when they're overweight. Like right now, even, I still am out of breath. Not out of breath, but I breathe heavily. I'm not out of breath right now, but I breathe heavily because I'm overweight. And of course, the blood clots in the lungs don't help that. Been in down spirits, really. Behind the scenes because I was looking at my bedside table this morning and I was like, it's collecting more and more things, more and more prescriptions. I have the sleep apnea machine. I have obstructive sleep apnea. I have my 2 types of antidepressants. I have my anti-nausea medication. I have pain medication. I have the blood thinners, So it's starting to look like my grandmother's medicine area. And I remember just before I had any health issues looking at her little counter with all her pills and thinking, oh my God, I don't ever want to take that many pills, especially for health situations that in a way I brought upon myself. So I have all these things. Tad on top of that, I have these large ovarian cysts, and that's just on the back burner for now. I have an appointment at the end of June to see my doctor to discuss that because they said there's no way I could have surgery right now while I'm being treated for this. So I have to be off of my blood thinners for at least 2 to 3 weeks or something like that before I could have the surgery. And I will have to be a bit more stable, give my body a bit more time to break these clots up before I can come off the blood thinners. So I'm tackling one thing at a time here. I'm sorry. Just whenever I say when I get to a place where I'm better, it just seems so far away, And I think I'm just emotional because I feel bad for myself, for my true self of my healthy, who I'm supposed to be. I literally feel like there's me trapped inside of me And I feel bad for that person trapped. And I feel like I just let her down. I'm constantly abusing her and letting her down. And
maybe some do. That's their problem. I don't. And here's why. And here's why I don't care if people cancel me, unsub, make 4-hour documentaries about me. It's because I know I'm human. I know I'm flawed. Show me one person with a perfect life or past, and I'll shut up. Just one. God made obstacles for us as tests. Life is personal and each individual has their own tailored path. So unless, and this is key, unless you are living in that person's shoes or life path, you really cannot say what you would do or how you would react to certain situations because you are not living it. You will always be looking from the outside in, and that gives you a very limited view. Trust me. Second, I have not done anything so terrible as to warrant that much criticism. Because she's a piece of shit. So here's the thing, Charlie Cole. I dare you. You're a victim when he abuses Dee. Yeah, she does deserve it. I don't give a fuck about her. I don't care if she gets fucking strangled. Dee wants you to eat her pussy. Dee wants you to eat her pussy. Dee wants you to eat her pussy. I don't give a fuck what Dee wants. Eat her pussy then, you fucking string bean. Fucking emaciated piece of shit Egyptian loser with fucking urinal teeth. I'm sorry, but it's true. People pick apart every little detail. Irrelevant, trivial details. If I play a video game I suck at the first time I play it as a first-timer amateur, which is normal, that somehow warrants a 5-hour live stream. Similarly with these documentaries, a 3-hour ordeal on me eating pasta and going on and off diets and talking about my abuser and low-key victim shaming. Sorry, former abuser. This new series about to come out, again, this has this ridiculous cinematic trailer, and the first sentence from the intro song they so carefully chose for it starts with basically, "You are the reason your father wasn't there." Nice choice of song. Blaming a child for their father being a deadbeat, absent parent, it's never the child's fault.
People are loving it. Who was it? Liar Liar by, was it Joy Hannah? I think. The music's amazing. What are you talking about? You don't mind listening again. Everybody likes the song. It fits. Beauty, fruity beauty.
Blaming a child for their father being
I wasn't blaming you.
It's
just part of the song. It mentions dad.
It's never the child's fault. I can tell
already. No, kids think it's their fault. That's the... I'm going to explain.
I can tell already by the stage that was set with this trailer, this will also be a load of crap series. But nonetheless, it's very lucrative because there's a lot of haters who will eat it up with a fork and spoon. I'll be as sweet as pie tomorrow? Oh, you know it. You know I'm going to manipulate the fuck out of you. And you're going to eat it up and you're going to watch me. Like I said, beating a dead horse. We already heard my life story. We already blamed me for dropping the charges, which if you simply use Google, many women in narcissistic abusive situations do that. It's the past. I don't live there anymore. You are reliving someone's trauma and someone's past for your own gain. It's weird and all too common. Anything I have gone through is normal because many have gone through similar things. Getting too drunk and saying things we don't mean. For example, Cuba rage gets rubbed in my face like I give a crap that I raged on my abuser after being subjected to a weekend of having my car keys and phone hidden and being pushed into situations I was not comfortable with. The Uvalde incident. I didn't write pumped up kicks, by the way. I didn't attack kids. That is something that gets twisted. Again, this is a perfect example.
Yes, and I just made fun of it. I just went like this. I just went like this.
I remember sobbing for them and mocking the gun culture of the US because it's not a secret that the US has a problem with shooters. There's a shooting every other day. I was also very drunk and maybe my delivery was in poor taste, but I would never mock deceased children.
I just made fun of it. I just went like this. I just went like this.
Again, another example of how things get twisted to make me look bad. Well, if people want to believe these things about me, I don't care. My cat's nail situation. Again, I've explained a million times what happened. I don't care if you don't believe it or not. And I certainly don't care if I'm hated. I get asked that a lot. Do you care you are so hated? No, of course not. I'm also very loved. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, people like to throw the fact that as a 15-year-old, I faked an unaliving incident for attention. I was very mentally ill. I was admitted to inpatient even, and I had a lot of issues. Again, that was 25 years ago. So get out of my face with that. Some of you haven't even been alive that long. Why are you all still ruminating and obsessing over my past when it's something I've moved on from? Certain incidents I have learned from and moved on. I grew up. As for the whole thing with Natcherd, I don't talk about that at all anymore if you haven't noticed, for a reason. I've moved on. So should all of you. That was a deeply traumatic time in my life, and the victim shaming and exploiting the situation over and over is gross. It's gross how people don't believe my story even though there's video evidence of them being an abuser on video. Oh, and doo-doo, you can keep your abusive, kitchen-burning, belly-dancing, cigarette-money-leeching man baby. But anyway, even if no one believes it, I don't care. These documentaries are therefore the least credible sources of information on me out there. Yes, sure, I have an eating disorder. I can't follow through with much and blah, blah, blah. We all heard this before, but I'm still here and I'm still trying and I'm not giving up. Most times you're wrong about me. They say I'm not married, for example, and you believe it. Without proof. Even after I've stated that it is not legal for us to live together here if not married. No one listens and stories are made up because I'm not living the reality you have created for me. It doesn't fit your narrative. You were wrong. Most of you still think it's only a matter of time before I return to the dumpster fire life, and some are sick and waiting for this. Some want me back with the abuser for entertainment. Can you imagine? Another thing people need to knock it off with is this accusing me of exploiting things that happened to me in my life. It's my life. I'm allowed to tell my story. The only one exploiting things at this point are reactors and these dumb documentary makers. The past is the past. Move on. So I'm not allowed to talk about my experiences, but you are allowed to talk about my experiences. I'm at a different phase in my life, and for me it's exciting. And even if I'm battling health issues and an eating disorder, I'm still grateful for all God has given me, and I don't place my self-worth in the words of Gore World or how much money I make. I saw one of these stupid documentaries talking about Boogie2988, another YouTuber, and while yes, he has done controversial, not so nice things, sometimes the whole documentary was keeping track of his net worth and how much money he had. He even says he's worthless at one point because he has no money. Money does not determine your worth as a person.
I'm going to Italy next month, bitches. You think you can afford to do that? I have so much money. MFW has no class, no teeth, and no fucking money. She's a fucking e-begging piece of shit, trailer trash loser, and you're gonna associate with that.
The sad music documentary basically making a person seem worthless because they are broke.
This is childproof too. Help me.